Hey everybody, I'll try to make this brief. This tutorial is being made to show you how to create an effective list for doing robocall reminders to early vote or just to vote period. I've already created my list for my county. It's here, and I'm in a small county, so I don't have a big list. It's 1,340 people. And of course, not everybody has a phone number. Your county is, well, mine's the smallest county, so your county is definitely bigger than mine. You'll have more people to call. But remember, calling is fairly cheap. It's only costing us, I think, $10 or so to do this many robocalls. So it's not an expensive way to do it. But let me quickly go through how I created this list because it's going to vary depending upon who you want to target. But here's who I targeted. I went to create a new list, first of all. And you have to do this kind of in stages. If you're not used to doing Vote Builder, you may need more assistance. Please feel free to ask. But what I did first, that you have all these boxes. They may not be in the same order for you. They may be different. But there were three things I looked at to pick on voters to who as to who to call. The first thing I used the score method, and they have a whole bunch of scoring methods, of course. Just use the one on top, and I put anybody from 50 to 100. Now this is a primary. I'm just looking for democratically inclined voters, so 50 to 100 there. I went down. I make sure of a couple of things. Some people have already turned their absentee ballots in, so you want to exclude people who have already early voted. You don't have to call them; they've already voted, so leave them alone. Go down and you can scroll through most of this. There's a few things though you need to click. Pick your county. I'm in multiple counties for another reason, but I'll pick mine just as an example. Uh, you want to make sure at this point they're just registered voters. You can remove all suppressions. I add back, of course, I don't want to call dead people, and I don't want to call people who don't want to be called. So I make sure I select all of those and I hit preview. Okay, that gives me X number of people. Now I want to go through and get another group of people. At that time, I use the scoring method. In the second step, what I do is I use the likely party method. So it's kind of repetitive. I have to go down through here again. I don't have to worry about adding the score this time. I've already done that. So I just keep scrolling. I want to exclude people who have early voted every single time I do this. I don't have to worry about any of this. And again, yours may be in a different order. You always want to select your home county just to make sure if you're in multiple counties, you don't drag somebody else's county into it. Where it says likely party, select strong Democrats, select leaning Democrats, and select independents. Now you can definitely have Democrats who look like they're Republicans. But if that's the case, they're probably going to be picked up by the scoring method. This time, I'm just looking at people who seem to be Democrats according to the likely party method. So I pick those three. Again, I get rid of the inactive voters. I remove all suppressions, and I go back to exclude dead people and exclude people who don't want to be called. Got all that. I preview my results. Now my list has grown a bit larger. Okay. One more step I want to add. And this is just my recommendation. And you're not going to pick up a lot of phone calls on this one, but it's something I think we need to work on, especially in North Georgia, and that is aiming at people who are younger. So the third group that I added, I looked at people who are 18 to 49. And I looked at people who have only just now registered since the last election. So if you remember, our last election was January 5th. That's when we elected Ossoff and Warnock. So anybody registered from January the 6th up to today's May the 1st. Tomorrow, if you're doing this some other day, whatever the day is, pick that date. Okay, so now we're going to get younger people who have recently registered. These are probably new voters. Maybe new voters, period. Maybe just be new voters to your county. Again, exclude anybody who may have already voted. You don't want to, if they've done that, you don't want to bother them. And I think you always want to pick your county. and you don't have to worry about likely party, and do the same thing down here. Get rid of the inactive, do the remove all suppressions. Again, dead people don't vote, or at least they don't now, hopefully. They used to, but they don't now. And exclude those people, preview your results. You probably added some more. That's how I got my 1,340 people. That's in the list that I've already created. Now, you may have other ideas about who you want to target. If you've got a bigger county, you may want to be more selective about who you're calling. But that's what gives you an idea of how to create a list of people. Once you have your list of people, you go to calls, you click set up robocall next, and this thing will pretty much walk you through the process. You have to give it a name, put your number in there if you're going to be the person who's overseeing this. Go to the next step. It'll ask you to make a recording. It will call you. Put your phone number in there. Make sure you have a little spiel ready to record, because the phone call will beep, and then it'll introduce itself, beep, and then it'll ask you to start recording. So go ahead and have your little speech written out. Try to make it no longer than, say, 75 seconds. Try to get your main points in there. Early voting has started. The times are 9 to 5, wherever the location or locations are. Remember to get your absentee ballots in by May the 13th. Those sorts of things. I mean, if you're in the 14th district, throw Marjorie Taylor Greene's name in there somewhere. That's probably going to drive more people out to vote. Or just somebody, anybody in your district. If you're in the 9th, Andrew Clyde, you can do the same there. So, give your robocall a name and just walk through these steps. It'll walk you through them. And at some point, you'll have to do the payment thing. And again, unless you're making 100,000 calls or something, this is not terribly expensive. It's a few pennies per call. So then this process walks you through it. So I'm not going to go through all of that. I just wanted to make a video that's a couple minutes long here, just as a reminder to everybody. And if you need more help, please reach out to me. I've done this a number of times now. It's not hard, but it may feel a little bit confusing or awkward at first if you've never done it. So hopefully you'll do your voter reach out. Remember, we have to drive our numbers up as much as we can, and this primary is a good place to start. So please work on getting voters out to the polls in whatever fashion that works best for you. But this is the robocall feature if you want to use it. Thanks.